Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Beth. Shabbat shalom, everyone. It is so, I was told in no uncertain terms that I could not wear my jacket tonight. Is that okay? All right. Sorry?
My name is uncertain.
Yes, exactly. Jared's name is uncertain terms. Yeah, or no uncertain terms. Tonight is here for many, many different reasons. We have a need to be together this evening because we have a need to heal from a difficult week. From difficult things happening in our world, even from things happening in our lives, and we need to come together and celebrate. We need to come together and schmooze. Jay, if you could invite them in. And we also need an opportunity to let loose a little bit. So, Jared, thank you for the invitation to not wear my jacket. Let's have this evening, La Brioude, where we can just let go a little bit. Take all of the things from this week and just set them aside. I think that there's a real powerful thing in the knowledge that Shabbat doesn't come when we finish something. Shabbat doesn't arrive when we've completed certain things. Shabbat comes with the sun at a certain time, because otherwise I firmly believe that we would not stop. We would just keep going. We would go and go and go. And we need something that reminds us that it's not going to stop unless we take the time to stop. So, if you're wearing a coat, you want to take it off, go for it. Unhook that tie. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's relax tonight. And I'd like to start with really one of my very favorite melodies, one of my favorite nigunim. It comes to us from Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav. A nigun is a melody, a prayer that we can offer that doesn't have any words. It's just a melody. The words are lai, 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 lai. And then it continues. If you want to write this down, the next words are lai, 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 lai. And the idea is that we can sing together, we can have a moment together, we can even offer a prayer together, but we don't have to worry about what the words might be. We can just enjoy. It goes like this. Oh, I should mention this too. You may notice that there's only one person up here this evening. So what that means is I might need a little bit of help as we go through this service, some singing. So I want to invite us to really let our voices out this evening, to sing together, because Cantor Cooper is not here this evening, and so I assure you, you want to hear the sound of all of our voices together over the sound of just mine. Let's sing together. Yai lai 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 yai lai la lai yai lai la lai 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 ya lai 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 yai lai la lai yai lai la lai 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 lai. Just like that. Let's try that one more time. Ya lai 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 yai lai la lai yai lai la lai 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 lai. It sounds beautiful. Ya lai 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 yai lai la lai yai lai la lai 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 lai. This is another part. It goes like this. Yai lai ya lai 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 yai lai la lai ya lai 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 yai lai 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 ya lai 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 yai lai la lai yai lai la lai 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 lai. Back to the beginning. Ya lai 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 yai lai la lai yai lai la lai 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 lai. Ya lai 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 yai lai la lai yai lai la lai Well, there are many things that, for me, help it feel like Shabbat. One of them is, quite honestly, looking around and seeing everyone. I wish that everyone who is here could stand where I am standing to see everyone that is here. It's so good to see each and every one of you, to hold what has been undoubtedly a difficult week. And honestly, I'm looking around the room and knowing that there are some simchas as well, and I am holding those simchas as well. That's what we do. We come together because when we have difficult moments, and when we have moments of sweetness, the opposite happens for each. When we come together and something is difficult, it makes it less difficult. When we come together and something is sweet, it makes it just a little bit more sweet. So, we get to share this evening together. It's so good to be together. And I want to invite us to keep entering into this holiday of Shabbat. Let's continue by singing together L'chu Neranena, the opportunity to open up our voices to sing a little bit. You'll find the words for L'chu Neranena on page 19 of our prayer books. The opportunity to, page 12? Oh, thank you, Jay. Takes a village. Yeah. Thanks, Mr. J. Page 12 of our prayer books for L'chu Neranena, the opportunity, literally, let's sing together. Because this holiday, it's entered not just by walking into sacred spaces, but it's also entered by setting an intention around it, by singing, by having the opportunity to have a little fun together. Let's sing. L'chu Neranena, Yai lai 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 lai, L'Adonai, Yai lai 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 lai, Nariya, Yai lai 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 lai, Litzur Yisheinu, Yai lai 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 lai. Let us sing out to God, maker of all, pure and strong. Let all of creation from mountain to sea hear our song. L'chu Neranena, Yai lai 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 lai, L'Adonai, Yai lai 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 lai, Nariya, Yai lai 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 lai, Litzur Yisheinu, Yai lai 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 lai. And for all of God's wonders and all of God's light, we rejoice. So now let us listen with all of our hearts to hear God's voice. Yai lai 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 lai, L'Adonai, Yai lai 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 lai, Nariya, Yai lai 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 lai, Litzur Yisheinu, Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai 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 lai, Yai lai lai lai. Shabbat feels like a time set outside of time. And so the poets, the rabbis, especially the Kabbalists, wondered about what this might be likened to. Perhaps a moment where two people are coming together might illustrate the feeling of having the opportunity to step outside of our lives to simply appreciate and celebrate what is beautiful in them. And so the Kabbalists drew the parallel of Shabbat to a wedding celebration, a moment of two people bringing their lives together. And so not yet, but when we get to the final verse of our prayer this evening, I'm going to invite us to rise and to turn to the door through which we entered our sanctuary, welcoming Shabbat as if she were here, maybe almost a week after her wedding, or perhaps even weeks after her wedding, here to celebrate with us on this particular Shabbat. I'm going to invite us to turn to the words on page 20 of our prayer books. Page 20 of our prayer books. Let's sing together. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu el hamyuchan. Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem ultiferet ve'litila lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'ne'elcha ki hi mekor ha'beracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, Kiva orech kumi uri. Uri, uri, shir daberi. Kivod Adonai alaych nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam besimcha uvetzochola toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please be seated. Well, I mentioned before that this has been a difficult week. Our hearts are heavy, of course, with the violence that continues in Israel, in the Middle East, and with the loss of 6 hostages this past Saturday. This Shabbat, as we come to gather in a symbol of strength in our community, I invite us to let this light be a reminder of the light that can come from each and every one of our lives, even in times of darkness, in times of sorrow, holding that bit of light so that in a time when it might be out in other places. Each and every Shabbat, we set out an odd setting of candles, because we know that this is an odd time. And so we have a blue candle here as a call for return for each and every one of the members of our community who have been taken from their homes. And seeing that we do have some little ones here, I'm not going to go into more of the details in this moment, but say simply that this is a call for them to be able to be at home. Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessing for the state of Israel, for all its inhabitants. Source of life, bless and strengthen those who defend it. Ensure their safe and speedy return home. We ask that you protect them, that you guide them. Holy and blessed one, show Israel's leaders your path so that they may act with wisdom, courage, dedication, so that they may be unwavering in their pursuit of peace. We ask that you strengthen their hearts, but keep them from hardening. Freer of captives, return those who are kidnapped, safe and sound to their homes, without any more violence. Master of compassion, help us to hold the humanity and the heartache of the Jewish people while also holding the humanity and the dignity of the Palestinian people. As we are made in your image, remind us of your ways. Spread over us your shelter of peace, and fulfill this vision of your prophets. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not take up sword against nation. They shall never again know war. Together let us say, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue now together and as one community with the words of Baruch Hu on page 28 of our prayer books. Page 28, please rise in body or in spirit. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Baruch hu et Adonai ha'mevorach. Baruch Adonai ha'mevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Continue on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmeroteim berakia kirtzano, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, uma'avdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzavaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv, aravim. We continue on page 32. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Anu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu Uvkumeinu na'asiach bechukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha V'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem negei yomam v'layla negei yomam v'layla Ve'ahavatcha al tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael. Page 34. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Please be seated. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi etzavecha hayom alevavecha vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letot afod b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem Emet. I find it kind of miraculous sometimes to think about the way that our history has been a part of our community and how it continues generation after generation. And so sometimes an image will rise up in my mind, and for me right now, the image that is in my mind is someone 1,000 years ago, sitting with a young person and sharing with them that there's a prayer that we've said for many years that's quite beautiful. It's all about saying to the youngest of our family that we're excited, that we really have nothing but love to share with them, and teaching them the words, Be'ahavta. These words have been said for thousands of years, and that can help it feel like something that was given to us that is ancient, that's perhaps even so history that it wouldn't live today, and yet we have a sleeping little one over there hearing the words. We have a little munchkin over in our life cycle room hearing those same words. We have young people who I bet if we ask them, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but if we ask them, they would be able to say these words not just out of the prayer book, but even from memory, because this is a tradition that continues to live. That what has happened in our history continues on until today and the future. And it's not just words that have been given one generation to the next. It's a bit of celebration as well. Fervor, singing, celebration of these prayers of this day. And so I'd like to invite us to continue with another prayer that is in our prayer book, another set of words that haven't just been said, but also sung one generation after the next. You'll find these words on page 40. Yai lai lai la lai la lai la lai la lai yai lai lai la lai la lai la lai ya lai la lai lai yai la lai la lai la lai yai la lai lai yai la lai la lai Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha ne'edar b'kodesh Nora tehilot Osef ele, Nora tehilot Osef ele. Malechutecha ra'u vanecha, Bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'eli anu ve'amru, Ze'eli anu ve'ameru. Adonai yimoch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimoch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai la lai la lai la lai la lai. Yai lai 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 la lai la lai. Ya lai la lai lai, ya la lai la lai la lai. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Well, for this next prayer, I'm going to need a little bit of help. So if we have anyone in our sanctuary or in our synagogue that is young in body or in spirit, as we do the Vishamra, I need a little bit of help. Can I get a couple of volunteers to come on up? Can you help me out? I see some sleepy ones over there. It's okay. And by the way, this is not just anyone who is young in body. This is young in spirit. I want to invite you to come on up. Come on up. I need some help with the ets of this next prayer. Can I get some help? I see a couple of you like, should it be me? Should I? Mark, thank you. Yes. Mark, thank you. Adolfo, yes. All right. Come on up, Naomi. All right. All right. Thank you. Okay. Come on up. Justin, we are being role models for our young ones. Thank you. Yes. All right. Okay. Now, this next prayer, thank you, Mark. This next prayer has in it a word. Mark always loves it when I explain this. It's not a word that exists in English. It's the first and last letters of the Hebrew alphabet. It combines two different letters, or two different words. It's a conjunction. It's not to be confused with the Hebrew word for pen, for anyone who speaks Hebrew. And it doesn't have an I in, right? It has an olive. And we have a tradition at Temple Israel that anytime we sing et in Vishamru, that what do? Let's do it on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Et. Okay, all right. So, now I should ask our volunteers. Do we think that you think they're ready? Yeah? No? Should we do a practice? All right, let's do a practice. On the count of three, we're going to all do an et. Now, for some of us, that's going to be lifting completely out of our seats. For some of us, it's going to be lifting our arms. For any of us who are, ready, there could be a jump involved too. All right, here we go. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Et. Okay, I think they're ready. Let's sing. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz b'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam. Beshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Beshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. We don't applaud often. We don't applaud in our services, but we might want to offer Yashar Koach to all of our volunteers. Yashar Koach. Thank you, everyone. Yashar Koach. Yashar Koach. That's a little taste of Shabbat Freilich. A little bit of taste of the fun in Shabbat. We continue now with the words of Amidah in our prayer books You'll find these words on page 46. It's an invitation for us to perhaps even meditate on a set of words that our ancestors held in front of them, meaningful reminders of daily living. And so we'll begin with those words on page 46 of our prayer books. Please rise in body or in spirit. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chaste Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei v'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Mogen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah, Rab Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimid, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom, Yehalelucha Selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles, and so we ask, O God, that you fill our eyes with seeing. Fill our minds with knowing, and let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we might walk. Help us to see that wherever we gaze, the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay, touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue either using words on the pages to follow, or other words we'll find in our hearts. We'll join together again on page 62 when you've completed your prayer. Please be seated. shalom. Shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Oh, say shalom. Shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Well, I want to tell you how I learned how to surf. This is how I learned how to surf. I had a group of friends when I was a young teenager. Actually, I think even before I was a teenager, like 10, 11, 12, around there. And they all surfed. You know, growing up in San Diego, there's not a whole lot. There's skateboards, burritos, and surfing. That's what you got, right? Playing guitar was revolutionary. So my friends all surfed. What do? Go to the beach with them. And they all knew how to surf, but I never really knew how to get in the water. I'd never actually been on a surfboard. Boogie boards, sure, but never a surfboard. And I always admired people who would get onto a surfboard, get in the water and ride these waves. It looked so beautiful. It looked so fun. And my friend Sean said, I've got an extra surfboard. Why don't you come? We'll take you out. So he and I and another good friend, the other two of them, learning and knowing how to surf for many years already, threw our surfboards in a car. We got driven out to the beach, and the whole time they're telling me, like, okay, you have to put the wax on in a certain way, and this is how you catch a wave, and all these different ways of surfing. We get to the beach, and we take the boards out, and they're showing me, this board is better for this, and this board is better for that. They gave me the board that they lovingly called the boat. They're so big. And they showed me how to wax the different boards, and we're sitting there, and they're showing me all the different techniques. And finally, we get to the point where we're going to go into the water, and they go, see ya. That's how I learned how to surf. So you can imagine that there was a lot of getting in the water and falling, trying things out, looking at other surfers and trying to see exactly how they do it, but maybe not being able to replicate it so well. So I did this for many, many years. I had a surfboard. I got in the water. And then I lived in other places that didn't have a place to surf. So for many, many years, it was only when I would get to a coast that I was able to get back into the water. I got back to Long Beach. I got back on a board. And I fell. Like a lot. Like, I'm not sure that I had so much before, but I certainly don't have much right in this moment. And so, just a few days ago on Monday, I met up with Corky's Surf Club at Bolsa Chica, and I got in the water, and I had somebody who went with me into that space and said, you're getting into the wave too quickly on that. You need to crouch down a little lower. You need to, you need to get further back on the board. And it was amazing. It was incredible because I had pretty much given up being able to get back into surfing, back into the water, thinking it would just be too difficult for me. But in many ways, I feel like I had the opportunity to kind of have a new lease on what it meant to grow. This past week, we also started the month of Elul. Elul is the beginning of our entrance into the High Holy Days, the beginning of the time when we can start to make our way towards what it might be like to renew and see a course and change. Now, I know that for so many of us, this week has been an incredibly difficult week. We have experienced a lot of loss this week. It's been one of tremendous pain. And I would like to invite us into the space of beginning a new year together. This month of Elul starting this week as a reminder that just as things can change and things can grow dark, that we have something set into our calendar because we have a world that is far more wondrous than we can ever know. Perhaps this is a time where some of the people who are in leadership might need to have the opportunity to reevaluate, to learn to do things differently, perhaps. But my hope for all of us is that this can be a time where we're able to step back and to see not just the difficulties of a year that has gone by, but hold a bit of hope as we look to a year ahead. May this year be one of light and renewal. May we hold that bit of hope as we look into what a new year can bring. Shana Tova, everyone. Wishing us much, much more brightness in the year ahead. I'm going to invite us now to turn our thoughts to those members of our community who are in need of healing. And as a part of that, I invite us to turn our hearts to the families of Hirsch Goldberg Poland, Carmel Gott, Aiden Yerushalmi, Ori Danino, Almig Sarusi, Alexander Labanov. You'll find in the handout that was offered this evening names. And that's because when we offer a prayer for healing, we do so because we're looking for a change to be made. If you see the name of someone in that handout, the name of someone that you haven't talked to in a while, the name of someone that maybe you haven't reached out to in a little bit, I invite us to make a phone call, send a text message. I invite us to let this prayer be a call to the healing that we ask for. Additionally, I'd like to turn our thoughts to those members of our community who have recently come on to our Misha Berach list. And so our hearts are with Evan Newman, Janet Pottebaum, Mary Guzetta, Nancy Hickey, Leslie Montiero, and Wayne Tennille. Additionally, this Shabbat, if you are thinking of someone in particular, it's our custom to invite you to rise and to share their name as my eyes meet yours so that we might all hold that person in our hearts. I invite you to rise now if you're thinking of someone. I invite us together to sing the words on 253, page 253, as we call out for healing this evening. sheberach Avoteinu Mekor habracha Le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imoteinu mekor habracha le'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We have a custom at Temple Israel. On the first Shabbat of every month, of taking a moment to, well, celebrate a little bit if we have any birthdays, we have any anniversaries on the month. And so if you have a birthday in this month of September, I want to invite you to let us know. Let's share that birthday, that celebration, that anniversary all together. I'm going to start with over here. Do we have any birthdays or anniversaries? We have a whole bunch. Go ahead, Marielle. Whose birthday? Mine. Your birthday. All right. Whose birthday? Oh my gosh, we have a lot of birthdays. All right. Mine. We have so many birthdays here. All right. Did I see someone behind? Okay. All right. Other birthdays, anniversaries. Next one, it's coming up, Rafa. Is that what you said? All right. Lauren. Yes.
Well, I got married this last week, and
Woohoo!
the anniversary of our proposal is next week, so
Your birthday? Is it your birthday is this month? Adolfo.
So this past September 1st was the anniversary of Lisa and my marriage. And September 26th, Eliana Guzman turns 14.
All right. All right. All right. Kathy.
it's my birthday.
All right. All right. Done. All right. All right. All right. All right.
It's my grandfather's birthday on the 5th. It was on the 5th.
All right. So let's sing together. Yom Huledet Sameach, woo! Yom Huledet Sameach, woo! Yom Huledet Sameach, woo! Yom Huledet Sameach, woo! Happy birthday to everyone, Mazel Tov. What a great thing to get to celebrate and to have this sweetness all together. You know, it never ceases to amaze me that we can come together and hold so many different things all at the same time. Perhaps it's more than one person can hold, and perhaps that's exactly why we come together, in order to have it. Mazel Tov, congratulations to everyone for all of these simchas. I'm looking forward to many, many more together. Well, let's continue our service. We continue with the words of Aleinu on page 282. Page 282 with the words of Aleinu. Please rise in body or in spirit. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam. Va'anachnu korim umishtachamim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu. Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad ushemo echad. Please be seated. Our thoughts now turn to those members of our community who have died in recent days or in this season in years past. If you are joining us online, I invite you to share the names of those that you are thinking of in the chat at this time. And for all of us, I invite us to turn our hearts to those members of our extended circle who are in need of our comfort today. And so together our hearts are with those members for whom someone near to them has died in these past 7 or 30 days. Together as we remember Penelope Berman, our hearts are with Michael, Talia and Philip, Nicholas and Joyce and Ruth and Eric. And as we remember Walt Levy, our hearts are with Jerry and Evan, Allison and Shane, Sophie, Samuel and Hudson. And as we remember George Sterling, our hearts are with Scott and Beth, Mira and Leah. And as we remember Ronald Hartman, our hearts are with Sylvia and Carl and Elise, Bruce and Julie, Greg and Sharon, Glenn and Jen, Shelby, Sarah and Stuart, Jordan, Erica, Brian, Isaac, Daniel, Clementine, Svi and Asher. And as we remember Anita Horowitz, our hearts are with Bobby and Sandy. Our hearts also are with the families of Hirsch Goldberg Poland, Carmel Gott, Aiden Yerushalmi, Ori Danino, Almug Sarusi, and Alexander Lobanov. This Shabbat as well, we mark the yard site, the anniversary of the death of Solomon Achdut, Herman Albert, Sidney Bukoff, Lori Cole, Abraham Iser, Michael Factorman, Rosalind Feldman, Saul Fruchthendler, Lori Glickman, Susan Grant, Jacob Green, Rose Kaufman, Jake Hogan, Daniel Leib, Sidney Levy, Alvin Levy, Louis Lapellis, Shirley Locke, Alan Love, Bruce Meltzer, Susan Morton, Laura Newman, Everett Phillips, Rose Rosen, Salim Sassoon, Raphael Urkis, Pearl Weinstein, and Julia Zornizer. If you are here in our sanctuary and are thinking of someone in particular this Shabbat, I'd like to invite you to rise. It's our custom to invite you to share the name of the person you're thinking of as my eyes meet yours. I'd like to invite us now to turn together to the words on page 294. Page 294, and to rise together and as one as we offer these words in the Mourner's Kaddish. Itgadal, v'itgadash Shemei Rabba, v'alma divarach chirutei, v'almlich malchutei, v'chayechon, uv'yomechon, uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman kariv, v'imru, amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba mevorach leolam olmei maya, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei dekudisha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma, v'imru, amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim alinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may the memories of those near to us always be a source of blessing. I invite us together to say, amen. Please be seated. We have a lot going on this week at Temple Israel. We have a lot even going on this evening at Temple Israel. And so I'd like to invite up a member of our board of directors, Kathy Kreda, to share some of the goings on this Shabbat.
I'm so glad you came here for the first time. Oh, here, you got it?
You take it.
No, I don't want to take it. I have a loud mouth. Okay, I'm all glad you came for the first time that my grandson has been to services. It's very nice of you to all celebrate Mason here today. Upcoming this week, as you know, and it's in your program, so I'll do it quickly. Next Friday, we're having our Kol HaNishma Shabbat. Yay, Bill. And that's a beautiful musical Shabbat. If you haven't come, please come. It will warm your hearts. What else do we have on here that we need to know? I mean, there's lots. September 11th is our Women's Book Club. And even if you haven't read the book, half the people haven't read the book. So just come and talk. It's not a big problem. Tonight is game night. So many of you have signed up. If you haven't signed up, you can come play. We have games. We have Candyland. We have much harder games. I don't even know what they are. But we have Outburst. We have, what, Jay? Yeah, that one too. Categories. Lots of fun games. We have a little light dinner since we know that probably didn't fill you up out there. So don't worry that you have to leave and have dinner. And, yeah, that's the joyous part of this upcoming week, and the rest of it is in your brochure or your pamphlet or whatever official name that might be. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, very much. We have a lot going on at Temple Israel. Of course, the High Holy Days are coming up as well, but if you didn't sign up for the game night tonight, this is my invitation to you. Mark, I hope you don't mind me calling you out. Whatever game Mark Dressner plays, he is a very competitive board game player. So not to be missed to have the opportunity to play with Mark. It should be a lot of fun. So I invite us all to join together for that, but before we get to that, we have a tradition at Temple Israel of, for our closing song, doing a little bit of, well, I'll put it this way. If I was at camp, this is how I would invite everyone to do this. Some of us have done this way before. So I want to invite us to take one arm and lift it up, and then take that arm and place it on the shoulders of the person next to you. If you are, by the way, by yourself, I invite you to go ahead and find someone to be next to. Find someone to be near this evening. Yes, and actually, I should say also, and go ahead and lift up your other arm, and place that on the shoulders of the person next to you on the other side. And I am noticing you may have to take your arms back just for a moment to rise. We also have a custom of standing for this. Let's sing together as we finish our service this evening. welcoming in this holiday. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru, imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Well, we'll continue our celebration just outside of our sanctuary with a little bit of Kiddush and Motzi. Shabbat shalom.